Hey, what's up you guys, it's Caboose bringing you another Gotham Knights video, and well, another day, another interview with WB Montreal surfaces online. Hopefully you guys haven't gotten sick of this yet, but there's still some intriguing things to go over in an interview that was done from Game Informer last night. We got some teases that there is potentially a post-launch plan for Gotham Knights, and also some hints as to what's going on with Red Hood's storyline in the game. Before we get into everything though, I wanted to ask you guys, of course, if at any point you enjoy this video, if you could consider leaving a like rating on it, it would show your support and I would really appreciate it. So if you enjoy the video at any point, leaving a like rating would be awesome. And if you're new here and you're looking forward to Gotham Knights, the good news is that I got you covered. I'm going to be making videos on everything for this game. News, updates, trailers, gameplay. When the game comes out at some point next year, you're going to see a Let's Play, all that fun stuff right here on this channel. So if you'd like to, you can subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell to be immediately notified when a video goes live. And with all that being said, well, let's jump into this. So you know the drill by now. We've got another interview with Fleur, Marty, and Patrick Redding at WB Montreal, this time coming from Game Informer. They put this up later in the day yesterday, and all the same with the interview conducted at IGN and GameSpot, we got some extra insight about Gotham Knights as well as some teases and hints towards some things we may not have known about. I'm going to be going over a couple of key questions that were answered, but if you want to read the entire article, it's going to be linked in the description box below. So the first question here is in regards to DLC, and well, it's not actually specifically asking about DLC, but the answer definitely hints towards that. So the question here from Game Informer when asking about the characters that are playable in Gotham Knights says, are those 4 characters really the core characters of the game? And interestingly enough, Patrick Redding responded saying, we're gonna have more details later about our post-launch lineup, but those are our 4. With Fleur Marty also responding saying, yes, those are the 4 playable characters of our game. Now this isn't necessarily shocking news. I think that most games nowadays do the whole DLC thing, so it was pretty much to be expected that when Gotham Knights comes out, it's gonna have some form of a post-launch plan with additional characters being added. Now, what those characters could be, I don't know, but there's definitely a lot of Bat family members to pull from. People in my community have suggested characters like, of course, Catwoman, who is definitely one of the main Bat family members that's missing from this game. Or even if they wanted to do something like a Damian Wayne Robin, give him the sword, make him all League of Assassins-like, that could be cool. There's also other choices out there like Batwoman, Batwing, who I think could be really awesome, Spoiler, Huntress, the list goes on. I just find it interesting that Patrick Redding is hinting at a post-launch lineup this early on in sort of the game's marketing campaign, if you will. And once again, just to calm any worries that people might have, this is not going to be a games as a service game. That's not the business model for Gotham Knights. That's not what they're going to try and do. So maybe expect something like a season pass that provides you just a set amount of content and that's it, rather than a games as a service which just continually adds content to their game so that it lives on over the span of many years. And now moving on, the next question from Game Informer here asks, when you have 4 distinct characters, that means you have to reflect 4 unique playstyles that all work. What can you tell me about what makes each of these characters distinct and compelling on their own within the game world? There's a longer answer in here, and I'm not going to go over everything that's answered from this question, but there's one specific thing that I did want to go over from Fleur Marty, as she provides a little more details about Batgirl and Red Hood. So once again, the full interview is linked in the description box below, but I just wanted to go over this specific piece of the answer. And this is what Fleur Marty has to say. Batgirl has 2 sides. She's the hacker, but in terms of her playstyle, she will focus on one enemy and pummel them until they're down. She's super focused. And you can actually see this on display in the Batgirl demo that was released online when she's just destroying this one dude and then goes for the takedown. It's awesome. But in continuing the quote here, Fleur Marty also says that Red Hood is a more ranged focused character. Everybody can use some ranged attacks, but he's a gunslinger and has a more brutal approach to combat. What's really interesting though is Red Hood's evolution. I think it's going to really surprise people. It taps into his storyline. He was dead and was resurrected, and there's something that is going to come out of there and that he's bringing to the fight. Now, I certainly have my opinions about the current interpretation that they're going for with Red Hood and Gotham Knights, but all of this sounds great to me. And I love the specific mention of Red Hood's evolution and how that'll progress with the character's storyline. I love as well that whether it's Red Hood's character bio or this quote here from Fleur Marty, that they're definitely hinting at Ra's al Ghul, the League of Assassins, as they're the ones who brought Red Hood back to life. If we're going to go up against Raish in this game, I'm 100% playing as Red Hood during those missions because I can't wait to see what the dialogue will be between those two characters. But now the last question that I wanted to go over in this Game Informer article reads as follows. The first trailer for the game really highlights the progression for these characters towards knighthood. Is that codified in the progression system? Are you literally moving through phases of these characters? Patrick Redding responds saying, in a sense, each of the four has a distinct ability tree in areas that a player can focus on. We expect people to have different builds of these characters that link to their style and strategy. That's very much in the action RPG blueprint. But there's a component of your ability tree that is specifically linked to you starting to take on the tools as your Dark Knight version. Knighthood represents not just a narrative concept. It's represented and expressed in parts of our ability tree and even in some of the gear. There are definitely two groups of people looking at this answer that feel two very different ways in regards to this answer. There's the crowd of people that I'm sure are very much looking forward to the idea of creating their own version of Red Hood, Nightwing, Robin, or Batgirl. And then there's the other side that are not the biggest fan of the whole RPG thing. And I think I understand both sides, and I'm probably leaning more towards the side of being excited in creating my own build or my own version of these characters. But I understand for some people, the whole RPG element to games can get a little confusing and can sometimes just be a little too overwhelming. So I guess all I can really say is hopefully when the time comes where we get to see what these ability trees or these skill trees get to look like for our characters, it's something that's easy to follow and not super complicated. Because honestly, up until this point, all the RPG elements of Gotham Knights haven't sounded too crazy. You know, there's no level gating to the world, it's all fully explorable from the get-go, the combat still very much feels like a third-person action-adventure beat-em-up. All the things that they were explaining didn't sound like they were leaning into the RPG element, but when it comes to skill trees, well, I'm guessing they're going full RPG on that. Either way, the game's not coming out until 2021, so hopefully we'll be hearing more and be seeing more about all this stuff soon. But with all that said, I now want to kick it to you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What character would you want to see as DLC in Gotham Knights? And also, what do you think about the other questions that were answered here in regards to the skill trees and the hints towards Red Hood's storyline? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And I know I said this yesterday, but I once again want to extend my thanks to all of you guys for the crazy support that you've been showing on the channel. It's been a ridiculous amount of fun covering Gotham Knights and of course Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League and all the superhero gaming content that we've been covering on this channel. It's going to be a strong end to the year and I cannot wait to bring you guys even more content. And then hopefully if there's anything else to react to for the remainder of the year, it's something that I won't go too crazy about so that people don't get so upset about me liking a thing. And of course, if you enjoyed today's video, if you could consider leaving a like rating on it, it would show your support and I would really appreciate it. I'm Caboose, and you can click on screen to make your way to one of the other videos on the channel, or you can click my logo to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Those links are going to be in the description. Drop a like if you enjoyed, leave a comment if you have an opinion, and subscribe if you're new. See you guys later.